Alright, so as you can see, I separated all the colored parts. I have the red here, a ton of charcoal here, and then I mixed the blue, the white, and the yellow. So now I'm going to dedicate my time to sanding, removing the leftover parts that's on the part itself, the leftover plastic, and then give it a nice sanding down. Then I'm going to review the manual and see what I have to build first. Definitely, of course, the charcoal is going to probably be the most parts are going to be pre-assembled and have it all as a solid part without me painting individual parts. The red parts, on the other hand, definitely is going to probably be on its own individual clips. So yeah, this should be very easy to paint. All I need to do is prime it and then set it up in a way where I can spray all of this at the same time with my metallic black. But I may leave that. I'm not going to paint that first. I think the most quickest thing to paint would probably be the yellow, because it's only very limited colors, and it's the gold paint that I have right here. The blue, of course, will take a little longer time, considering the metallic blue as I'm going to use to paint, and then of course the super silver on the white parts, and then finally I'll leave the charcoal as last for me to paint with the gunmetal colors. But yeah, this is going to be a really cool kit to build for me. I'm going to really enjoy this. I just never thought of it changing it the color to black. I could have easily changed it to another color like blue, but then it will not go well with the blue body, or maybe green. But I've seen, you know what, a lot of people ask me, why don't I just make it a Hulk, make my version of the Hulk. There's other people probably doing it better than me, and nah, that's not me. That's really, I know other people will probably want to do it, but nah, Hulk would not be a good idea. There is a nice picture online of someone using this and making it as Iron Man, of course all red with gold, so that's a nice cool thing to see. This is not going to be nowhere near what, an Iron Man color, but then again, didn't realize that my full frontal almost looks like Iron Man, for those of you who remember the full frontal unicorn Banshee. And Gunplum did one of his own as well. Alright, let's get started and start cleaning up. So I began putting some parts on the trees, on the alligator clips, as you could see here. And I've decided to work on the least amount of parts and then work my way up to the large amount of parts. Frankly, there's very little bit of yellow, as you can see. So I got a couple of them on my toothpicks, while some of them can be easily put on clips, the alligator clips on this. And then this one, the vents, which is a bit tricky. I had to verify what, I didn't want to cover something that really needed to be painted. But this one was easy enough to actually grasp here and paint easily, so I'm gonna have that ready. I'm gonna work on this first. The second part, of course, is the blue. Again, very limited blue here, except this one I had to put together, and I did glue it here. I'm waiting for it to dry so I can sand it down a bit more, as you can see there. But the spoiler is really nice on this, kind of like it. But I was also reviewing the manual, thinking, do I have to put the spoiler on before or after the build? And clearly it can be put on now. I don't have to worry about it later. It won't get in the way while I'm assembling the Titus. The white, of course, is the same thing. A lot of parts can be easily put on clips like these, and the face mask. Some parts, like the crown, like the top part of the head, as you can see here, I had to put it on a little putty, a little sticky tack there, so I can hold it on with this. And this one gave me a lot of trouble, because even though it had these little grooves there, it would not snug comfortably with the what the hell you call it, toothpick. So I had to use a tack there. So I'm gonna go prime this and then paint it. So as you can see, I've completed painting all the white, blue, and yellow parts with gold, super silver, and blue. However, super silver I did not do, and I apologize for any type of misleading. Turns out that I ran out of super silver, as you can see here. Very, very little. What you're seeing here is, and I don't have the bottle here with me, it's near the my spray booth, is Tamiya's titanium silver. It has more of a matte finish than the chrome silver, so I thought maybe this would be more of an appropriate use for this. And as you see, very, very limited colors for me to use. I don't have to, spend a lot of time airbrushing. Except, now these two were airbrushed. This one I used a spray can of gold, which came out okay. But I had to give it at least a coat or two, because somehow the paint breaks up somewhere along the line. I may decide to do another pass, give it another blast on this. But the gold looks nice. It reminds me of how the pattern looks on the full frontal kit that I made. Blue, on the other hand, the metallic blue was something to interestingly work with. I didn't use the lacquer one, I used the acrylic one, and it came out okay, but I had to be very careful not to oversaturate it. Except over here by the wings, you can see a little bit of oversaturation here. I may decide to do another pass over it and darkening it up again. Now, darkening it up a bit more just to even it out. It is dark, but not too dark, and you do see some sort of weird metallic look to it, but not that much. Not like the metallic look of the my desk sight that I made last year. But I think it's good for now, and I'm going to leave it the way it is. But as you can see, I got this out of the way, so I'm going to put this away in a tray. And now the next thing I'm going to be working on is, of course, the red. The red is the one where I need to sand, remove the remaining plastic parts, sand it down. Then another reason is because of the volume of parts here, I decided to work with this first, get them on the clips, and then once I'm done with it, put them away, then reuse the clips onto the red parts. The charcoal parts, I'll get to that later. And I'm sorry if I didn't show you the airbrushing of this, because obviously many people don't want to see that. I mean, I think people rather look at paint dry than me airbrushing. But I will I will spray the red with this. So give me a moment to prime the red, and then I'll be painting the metallic black. Alright, so now I'm going to begin painting all the red parts, the metallic black that I mentioned before. But first up, I had to wait until all these parts, all the red parts dried up, since I had to prime each and every one of them. Now, one thing that everybody should be aware of is that even though I prime the colors and I'm going to paint it, it really wouldn't have mattered, since black pretty much can cover anything. And this is metallic black will definitely cover all the parts. So why should I prime these parts? Well, guess what? When you start sanding down those nubs and those scar marks that's on the kit and smoothing it out, even if you paint it, it'll show up on the paint. So priming it will cover those scar marks and whatever that you made, whatever messes that's on it. And I didn't spray too much on it. I just sprayed like a good maybe 75% on the parts, but I only focused on areas that definitely needs it. So let's work with this first part here. Let's make sure that this thing is nice and snug. There we go. Give it a shake, and just like in the movie Aliens, short controlled bursts. don't know if you guys can see this. There is a definite glimmer here. But this is the result that I got out of this paint. Take a look at my finger here. I don't know if you could see this shimmering. Let's try this one. We'll just do a few for now, obviously. There we go. I'll review the part again later on. Let's try some of the bigger ones, like this guy. Wow, this metallic black shows some amazing color here. Really amazing. Wow. I wonder if they sell this in a regular, you know, airbrush type vial. I'll have to look at the Mr. Hobby and other brands like that. And while we're on the shoulder, let's work on this guy right here. Alright, I'm enjoying this, so let me continue on spray painting these, and we'll look at the final results when it dries.